Okay, now the example is here. Here is your book. Take book away. Now here the repetition has been done of this book one time, and second time it has been repeated again. So to avoid this repetition of book, and what is this book? It is a thing without life, right? As you know, we use he, she for male or female, whereas this book is a thing without life. So to avoid this repetition of book, we will use it here. So the first use of it is that it is used for things without life, right? This is the first use of it, that it is used for those things which have no living existence, right? Physical existence hai inki, lekin these are those things without life, right? Another example is, it is a book. Yahan pe aapne, again you have used it with this book. So it's the first use. Now we are going to see the second use of okay. Now the second example is, when I saw the child was crying. Now here child, to avoid this repetition of child, we have again used word it. So according to the second use of it, to replace the word child, अब जरूरी नहीं है, it's not necessary कि आप सिर्फ उन चीजों के साथ लगाएं जो कि things without life हैं. This is actually the first use, right? And now we are going to talk about the second use of it, and it is used for that child, which is used in a sentence and to avoid repetition. Now this child is what? It is a common gender, as you know, because child could be male or child could be female as well. So जब आप generally किसी child की बात करना चाह रहे हैं in a sentence, उसमें आप कोई describe नहीं करे whether it is a male or female. When you are just using the word child, तो उसके लिए आप उसको replace कर सकते हैं with the word that is it. So we have talked about till now two uses of it. First is what? Things without life. Second is for baby or child, right? Another example of the second use, the baby has torn its clothes. So here this its is actually representing what? The baby, right? So we have tried to avoid this baby again in a sentence with the use of pronoun, and that pronoun is it. So this example is again related to the second use of it, right? Now we are going to talk about the third use. Now the two examples have been written here. He loves his dog and cannot live without dog. Now what I did, I made a repetition of this dog in a sentence, and this dog is what? It is an animal, right? So here I want to avoid this repetition of dog with the use of pronoun, that is, he loves his dog and cannot live without it. So it's the third use of it, that it is used to represent or to replace animals in a sentence. वो एनिमल्स जिसके आपने कोई आगे फर्दर लाइनेस, फॉर एग्जांपल लाइन एंड लाइनेस, आपने पर्टिकुलर उसका जेंडर नहीं डिस्क्राइब किया हुआ. व्हेन यू आर जस्ट टेलिंग द जनरल, एनी प्रॉब्लम? Okay, when you are just talking about generally about the animal, so to replace that animal in a sentence, you will use what? It. He loves his dog and cannot live without it. The horse fell and broke horse leg. Again repetition. So to avoid this repetition, we will use its, right? The horse fell and broke its leg. So according to these examples, the third use of it is what? That it is used for animals. unless and until you are telling the exact gender of that. जब exact gender बताएंगे उसमें तो कोई problem ही नहीं है. But when you are talking about generally about the animals, there you will use what? It, right? So are you clear till here? 3 uses of it. First, things without life for a child or a baby, and for animals, right? Okay, another example is, he is telling what is not true, and he knows he is telling what is not true. Now, this is one sentence, but here you can see the repetition is there. Now, where is the repetition? He is telling what is not true, and he knows, और उसे पता है कि वो झूठ वो बात कर रहा है जो कि सच नहीं है. Now, here it has been repeated again. So, to avoid this repetition of the statement which has been used before in a sentence, इस repetition को avoid करने के लिए, किस चीज की repetition? ये वो statement है जो कि sentence से पहले use हो चुकी है. So, what is the need to repeat again? इसकी क्या जरूरत है कि आप इसे दोबारा repeat करें? So, to avoid this, you will replace this whole statement with the pronoun it, right? अब इसको पढ़ें. He is telling what is not true and he knows it, right? So this it has been replaced, this second statement of a sentence which has been repeated again. To avoid this repetition, you will use what? It, right? So the fourth use of it is that it is used for the statement used before in a sentence, right? It is used for a statement which has been used before in a sentence, जो पहले sentence में use हो चुकी है, right? So till now we have talked about 4 uses of it. Now we are going to see another example of the same use. Okay, for the same rule, fourth rule, another example is, he deserved his punishment and he knew he deserved his punishment. Now, he deserved का क्या मतलब है कि वो उस punishment का मुस्तहिक था जो उसे मिली है, और उसे पता है कि वो punishment जो उसे मिली है वो उसका मुस्तहिक था. अब यहाँ पे देखें, he deserved his punishment, it's the first part of the sentence, and he knew he deserved his punishment, it's the second part, and it has been repeated again. ये repeat हुई है because it has already been used in the first part of a statement. So to replace this second statement which has been repeated, to avoid this repetition, we will use what? It, right? He deserved his punishment and he knew it. अब देखें उस सब को आपने remove कर दिया है, उसको replace कर दिया है with it, and that is actually the function of what? Pronoun. Pronoun is a word that is used to avoid the repetition in a sentence, right? Okay, ji. Next use of it. Now, suppose if someone draws a beautiful picture, a very perfect picture on a page, and I ask him that who has drawn this picture? जिसने बनाई है, अगर वो मुझे सिर्फ ये कहता है, मैम I drawn this picture और I have did this, तो ये एक simple statement होगी. But if he says it is me who drew or who has made this picture, तो यहाँ पे second time जो उसने कहा है इट इज मी, ये मैं ही हूं जिसने पिक्चर ड्रॉ की है। तो यहाँ पे इट का क्या यूज हुआ है? हियर द इट हैज बीन यूज्ड टू पुट एम्फेसिस ऑन समथिंग। एम्फेसिस मींस किसी बात पे आपने जोर दे के कह रहे हैं कि मैं ही हूं जिसने पिक्चर ड्रॉ की है। अगर आप सिंपल कह रहे हैं कि मैंने ड्रॉ की है, व्हेन यू आर नॉट यूजिंग इट, तो वो एक सिंपल स्टेटमेंट होगी, एक ऑर्डिनरी तरीके से आप बात कर रहे हैं। बट इफ यू आर पुटिंग एम्फेसिस ऑन समथिंग कि ये मैंने ही किया है, सो देयर यू विल यूज व्हाट? यू विल यूज इट. So the next use of it is that it is used to put emphasis on something. Example is what? Now here you can see the example. It was you who began the quarrel. तुम ही ने लड़ाई स्टार्ट की थी. Right? Now when you are saying it was you who began the quarrel, so it means you are putting emphasis. Emphasis का क्या मतलब है? कि जब आप किसी बात पे जोर दे रहे हैं. So to put emphasis, you will use what? आप उसके लिए क्या यूज करेंगे? You will use it in a sentence. Second example. It was I who first protested. मैंने ही इस चीज का प्रोटेस्ट किया है. तो फिर वहां पे आप क्या कर रहे हैं? You are actually enforcing this thing. You are ensuring this thing with the help of what? With the help of it. तो यहाँ पे according to the fifth use of it is that it is used for the sake of emphasis. Okay, the next example is it is winter, it is 10 o'clock, it is 10th December. Now here what I did, I have used it for weather, climate, I have used it for time, I have used it for date. So according to the next use of it, you will use it for the sake of weather, you can use it for the sake of time, and you will also use it for the purpose and for using and describing an expression of date as well. So the next use of it is for weather, for date, time and date. Right? Are you clear? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, when you are talking to someone on telephone and when you have made a call to someone and if someone is asking who is there, so आप आगे से कहते हैं it's me, Ahmed, it's me, Ali. तो वहां पे you are using again it for using and calling for your own self, या आप अपने लिए यूज करते हैं या आप किसी के लिए यूज करते हैं. सो वाइल टॉकिंग टू समवन, it's me, it's Ahmed, and when someone is knocking on door, if you ask who is there, so at that time even if you are not seeing that one, अगर आप उसको देख नहीं रहे लेकिन आवाज आप दे रहे हैं या आवाज आप सुन रहे हैं, तो अदर पर्सन विल से इट्स मी योर नेबर. Right? So this is the next use of it, which is used to talk about people. Right? So here, while talking about people, you will use it. For example, on the telephone, it's me, it's Ahmed. And if someone is knocking on the door and you ask who is there, so the reply comes, it's me, your neighbor. So these are the uses and of it. According to the next use, okay. Okay, now here another example is the sun has risen. It gives light to everybody. Now the sun is what? It is a noun, right? And if I write this sun again, so here it comes with the repetition of that same noun. So to avoid that repetition of noun, you will use what? You will use it, right? So now the sentence is the sun has risen, it gives light to everybody. So it is used for, according to the next use of it, to refer to a noun which has come before. How it is referring to a noun which has come before? Here it is noun. It has come before in a sentence, and to avoid its repetition, what we did, we have replaced it with it in a sentence, right? So these are all different uses of it. I'm repeating again. It is used for things without life. It is used for child or baby. It is used for animals. It is used for the statement used before in a sentence. Then it is used for emphasis. It is used for weather, time, and day. Next is to use to talk about people. And the eighth one is to refer to a noun which has come before in a sentence. So we talked about 8 uses of it. And what you have to do, you have to write 3 to 4 examples. It's better to write 5 examples of each use in the form of assignment, which I will tell you later on that when you have to submit this assignment, right? But you have to start working on it, right? So you will write 5 examples of each use, because in this way your idea would be more clear about the uses of it. Okay, ji. Now we are going to talk about the uses of there. Use of there, you can see the example, and it's not there with this plural. ये वो plural वाला there नहीं है. It is THERE, which is used for different purposes we are talking about, right? So according to first use, if you see these examples, may I sit there? Now here what you are doing, you are pointing out towards any location. आप किसी location को, किसी place को represent कर रहे हैं. You are pointing out towards any place in a sentence. So that representation, that expression of location and place is actually done with the help of there, right? Stay outside there. Stay outside there. So it means you are pointing out towards any location. So it is the first use of there, that it is used for representing any place or location, right? May I sit there? May I go there? May I work there? So here you are using this there to represent the place or location, right? Okay, ji. According to the second use, an example of your daily life. Say, for example, you are going to have your physical class, and if any teacher comes from outside and he announces that you are going to have, or there is going to have a sports competition next week. Now, there is going to have a sports competition next week. यहाँ पे there क्यों use हुआ है? to announce some new idea, to announce some new information. अब वहां पे टीचर क्या चीज इंट्रोड्यूस करवा रहा है, ये टीचर क्या अनाउंस कर रहा है? A sports competition that is going to be held next week. Now this is a new information, a new idea which has been introduced in a sentence with the help of what? With the help of there. Okay? So this is the second use of there, when you want to introduce a new information, a new idea in a sentence. In the same way, there is going to be a meeting today. अब आज meeting होने जा रही है, उसके लिए now meeting is what? It is an information which has been announced. So it will be announced in a sentence with the help of what? With the help of there, right? Now here in these examples, look, if you look at the first one, there is going to be a sports competition next week. Now here the information is what? It is about sports competition and it has been introduced with the help of what? There, right? There is a meeting today. Now the idea and information is what? Meeting, and it has been introduced with the help of there. There was a boy in the car. Now an idea has been shared about this boy, or information has been told about a boy with the help of what? With the help of there. So it is the second use of there, that it is used to for the sake of announcing or introducing any information. Right? If you see, God forbid, if you see an accident on the road, and if you gives information to your friend or someone who is there at home, and you tell that there was an accident on the road, and Alhamdulillah, no one was injured or no one was hurt, right? So आप वहाँ पे क्या announce कर रहे हैं? You are announcing an accident which you saw on the road, and you are going to give that information to your family member when you go back to your home. So with the help of there, you are announcing that information that there was an accident, but Alhamdulillah, no one was hurt or no one was injured, right? So we are going to talk about the next use of there. Present today. So if the person is replying with an answer that there are 2 students present in the class. Now here the number 2 has been introduced with the help of there in a sentence. So it's the next use of there, that whenever you are using number in a sentence and to introduce that number, or to write or to tell that number in a sentence, you will take help of there. Now here there are 2 students, and this 2 is actually used with the help of there. Next is what? There are 7 days in a week. So 7 days are actually used and represented with the help of there. They have been introduced with the help of there. There are 2 houses on the street. So these 2 houses have been introduced with the help of there. So according to the next use of there is used for what? For numbers. Number of persons or things, right? There are 4 books on the table, right? 4 persons or things. Right? So it's the next use of there, that it is used for the number of persons or things. There was plenty to eat and there was lots to see. If you remember, we have talked about adjective of quantity. And if you remember, we have talked about countable and uncountable. And here again, plenty is a word which is used for quantity, right? And it is different from number, as we all know. Quantity is something which cannot be counted, whereas number is something which can be counted. तो हमने यहाँ पे एक और यूज देखा है there का, and there is used with the help of, and it is used in a sentence with what? With quantity, right? There was plenty to eat. खाने को वहां पे बहुत कुछ था या बहुत कुछ खाने को था. तो plenty is what? It is quantity and it is used with the help of there, right? There was lots to see. बहुत कुछ देखने को था. तो lots is what? Again, it's a quantity. And this quantity is actually used with the help of there. So the next use of there is what? It is used for the expression of quantity in a sentence, right? In the same
Yes, sir, बिल्कुल.
There was nothing important. There was nothing important. Again, it has been used for that word when you are not clear about something, when you are not sure about something. तो ये वो indefinite pronoun है. ठीक है? Indefinite pronoun is that pronoun when you use this word when you are not sure for something, when you are not exact definite for something. जब आपको कोई exact चीज का ना पता हो तो there you will use what? Indefinite pronoun. So indefinite pronoun is what indefinite itself is telling you when you are not sure, because indefinite is the opposite of definite, right? So whenever you are using indefinite pronoun in a sentence, आप वहां पे क्या use करेंगे? You will use there. There was nothing important. उसके अलावा there was nobody in the party. There was nobody in the party. So this nobody is again indefinite pronoun. So here we have used with there. So it's the next use of there that it is used for with indefinite pronoun. Right? So these are few important uses of it. There. The first use of there is that it is used to represent or to express a place or location. The second use of there is that it is used to introduce some information or idea in a sentence. The third use of there that it is used with the number of persons or things. The next is that it is used for the expression of quantity. And the last use of there is that it is used with indefinite pronoun. So what you have to do, you have to write 5 examples of each use of there as well, right, in a form of assignment. And I will tell you later on that when you have to submit this assignment, any question that you want to ask with respect to uses of it and there,